All right, so today we are talking with Amanda again. Amanda's just returned back from a European river cruise. And so today we're going to be talking about the AmaWaterways, and is it the AmaCerto you were on, Amanda?
𝖸𝖺erto, I was told I was pronouncing.
Oh,
I thought it was the AmaCerto, but it's the 𝖸𝖺erto.
so was this your first river cruise?
It was my first river cruise. It will not be my last.
Because you've done the regular large ocean cruises before. Would you say
Yeah.
for somebody in your age range that a river cruise is something that they should consider, or do you think it's more for just like older people or retirees, that kind of thing?
First off is the size. On a river cruise, you've got 140 people typically maximum. It wasn't over pretentious. You didn't need to be in your ball gowns and your tuxedos. You could dress comfortably because chances were you were on the shore all day shopping, sightseeing, or you're off in some amazing excursion that is included with the river cruise. Definitely was one of the younger people on the ship, but that didn't bother me because for me, a great evening can be having a later dinner, listening to some music, and enjoying the sights around you and the people that you're with. This is going to work for you no matter the age.
Now, let's talk about the whole functionality of being on a river cruise. You're like right in the cities.
Yes. So most of the time you're docking right in. I'm going to use the city of Kampen in the Netherlands as an example. We literally docked right up on the street. To get off the ship, you just walk across a little plank that's about this big that's covering the, 6-inch gap. We were in some of the most beautiful shops, the cheeses, the textiles, things like that. If the ship is docking somewhere that's not super great to walk into town, they did have a bus that went back and forth kind of every half hour to an hour. The other great thing is if you want to use the transport, you can do that. Otherwise, in some of the ports, Uber is super easy to use and they'll
Yeah.
give you the location and tell you how to get back. And we also have a WhatsApp chat, which was really helpful as well.
So, talk about the excursions for a second. How does that excursion work?
Every port has multiple excursions that you can choose from. They have different levels of activities. It might be a city walking tour, but within that, they'll have a regular pace and a gentle pace. And then there's usually a bike tour. And whether you want to just take the bike and do your own thing, or if you want to go on a guided bike tour, that's always an option. There are no e-bikes before you ask. They are all people-powered bikes.
For me, travel, a very big part of it for me is food, because everywhere you go has unique flavors and tastes. And so overall, food was.
I think the food was great. They try to source all of their food from 15 kilometers from the port. The salads were amazing. It might have just been lettuce, but it was so fresh and crisp. It literally tasted like someone went to their garden, pulled it out, washed it, and put it on your plate. Everything was freshly made. Other things like the meat, just so well prepared. There's definitely a few different ways to dine as well. If you want to go and sit in the main dining room for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're absolutely welcome to. You order off a menu. Some of the stations are a little bit of a buffet style. If you want more of a lighter fare, you can sit up in the lounge area. You could also order from the menu from downstairs. They had sort of your eggs, your bacon, your muesli.
You mentioned about the chef's table. So what was significant
Yes.
about that?
So the chef's table is actually one of the restaurants, a small intimate venue. It's a 7-course meal, starting with an amuse-bouffe, leading into the most amazing appetizers, mains, desserts, and each course is paired with a different wine. This chef's table often becomes the Italian restaurant for lunch. So you can go and have your pizzas of the day, pastas of the day, again, fresh made pasta. Everything is just delicious.
If you've never had fresh made pasta before, um, do yourself a favor and try it, because it's amazing what they can create with this and how delicious it tastes.
The specialty dining on an ocean cruise is going to cost you 50 to 70 Canadian per person.
Yeah.
This is part of the cruise. So when you start adding up those shore excursions, the chef's table, you get beer and wine with lunch and dinner. There's a cocktail hour before dinner. The value just starts to overcome what you've actually paid for it.
How late did you stay in the ports? Like, would you be able to go out and walk around in the evening at all?
For example, we were in Amsterdam and we were there overnight. So they said, hey, just be back on board by 5 a.m. because the ship's leaving at 6. So you could not only just come and have dinner on the ship and then go back into town because you were so close.
So let's talk about the cabins a little bit. You were in, was it the most basic type of cabin?
I was in the entry-level cabin, like your head would be at water level, and there's two, not portholes, but windows, we should say. They're quite large that are going to be just above the water views. But because you're on the rivers mostly, there's no motion sickness from being out on the ocean. Bathrooms were well appointed. You've got your hairdryer, you've got storage. You can do two twins or you can have them squished together. There is a precaution that I do give my clients is when you've booked a French balcony or one of the outside balconies. In Europe, a lot of the ships are docking side by side. We're talking there's maybe 6 inches of space between them. You have to be prepared that if you have one of those cabins that you haven't left your curtains open and you've come out of the bathroom or shower in your birthday suit. It's quite fun though, because a lot of the times you'll see people cheersing from ship to ship. Sometimes you get to walk through other ships to come on to your ship. I love spas. They had a massage therapist and they had a little room. You could book yourself in for massages. And I will tell you, book early because once you've done a lot of walking and he or she will be booked for the whole week. And there was only one room and only one massage therapist. I had an amazing massage. I felt like $1 million walking out of there. So definitely pro tip, book a massage early.
As a rule of thumb, always best to fly in a day or two ahead of the cruise.
So we always recommend flying in a day ahead of time, just so that you don't miss the boat. Especially in Europe, we'll use that as an example. Somebody always seems to be on strike, whether it's the public transport, the trains, the buses, the taxis, the Ubers. We recommend flying in the night before. So your agents will have some great recommendations based on what's best for you and what you're most interested in. Sometimes your cruises start and end in different ports. So would definitely recommend spending a few nights at the end of your trip as well. And AmaWaterways has some phenomenal pre and post packages. So your agents will definitely look at those with you and offer those to you. With those packages, you are treated as an AMA guest from the moment you land at the airport, taken the transfer to the hotel. Your tours are again included as part of their pre and post packages. Already paid for your flight there. Why not explore a little bit more? And one thing that's included, again, you're not buying a package, you're not paying extra, but Wi-Fi is included.
Let's talk about how a person should go about booking this cruise. And the reason that we are having this conversation with Amanda is because we think you should book with Amanda.
Using our agency, we are able to line you up with the right ship, the right itinerary, the right cabin. We have a team of 7 agents here in British Columbia and 1 in Alberta. You just need to send us an email to info@𝖸RTravelCollective.com and we will set up a phone call and start chatting about your next vacation.
Amanda, you can see she loves travel. She loves to get all the insider scoop on things. So you know that you're going to be in good hands. I mean, as little things as like, you might think, well, princess or a French balcony, you have a little bit more indoor space. But as Amanda said, you got to watch out if you're the type of person who likes to dry au naturel after your shower. She's going to have some tips for you on ways you can avoid an awkward situation.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about these themed cruises. So with the river cruising, a lot of it is the itinerary, but there's also a bunch of sailings that they do that are designed around a certain theme. So what are some of those?
So, I mean, tulip time is extremely popular, as we know. And so those itineraries are going to be a little different. They're going to go into more of the smaller ports throughout the Netherlands. And their shore excursions are going to be more geared towards Keukenhof, tulip fields where they're growing tulip greenhouses and things like that. There's also Smithsonian. There's wine cruises, which I currently have clients on. And what that just means is there's going to be more excursions too. They're going to be out to a vineyard versus, say, in Belgium, we went to a chocolate family's farm where they make chocolate. So you're going to go out to a vineyard where they're making wine, that type of thing. And then on board, they're also going to bring more variety of wines on board. Not that there was a shortage in the first place, but just because of the specialty types of cruises. And then the one specialty that is so popular, and I have yet to experience, is the Christmas markets cruises. AmaWaterways, they do up these ships. Absolutely stunning, sparkling. It gets you in that festive mood. And then, of course, you're in these little ports and you're going to the Christmas markets. So that is one of the most popular ones that we get a lot of requests for.
So make sure you've got your full luggage allocation available when
Yes.
you go on a Christmas market cruise.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about the amazing cruise experience that you had. We'll put the contact information down below as well as here on the screen. So if you want to book an AmaWaterways cruise, feel free to reach out to Amanda, and either she or she'll hook you up with one of her teams. You can get booked and be on your expert cruise right away. Thanks for joining us today, Amanda. Really appreciate you taking the time. Well, I guess we'll see you on the next one.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.